You want to start Amazon FBA, but you don't want to pay for all of the tools. I get it. But with product research being so critical, do you actually need paid software tools? Or can you find profitable products to sell on Amazon without these software tools for free and using a different method? Today we are going against the grain where sellers rarely venture. I'm going to share with you a method for finding giftable products to sell on Amazon, and this is totally free. In fact, this goes back to how I used to do product research for the European markets before software tools even got there. My name is Rodgers. I've been selling on Amazon for over 5 years. I've trained over 1,000 sellers one-on-one. I now share my knowledge in videos like this. And if you want to learn everything about this FBA business model from sellers like myself and SETH, KNIEP, you can check out Amazon FBA Mastery at the link below this video. Another benefit, other than it being free, is that a lot of sellers are using these well-known software databases, meaning they're finding the same types of products, leading to a lot of competition in those markets. Whereas using this very different and more manual method is going to uncover more hidden markets other sellers are not finding. And before we jump in, you do have to smash that like button. That is an essential part of finding high potential products. But step number 1 is to navigate to your marketplace's Amazon bestseller list, and I have added quick links to the major bestsellers lists below. But on Amazon, click the all drop down at the top of the page. Then under trending, click bestsellers. At the top you will see bestsellers, new releases, movers and shakers, most wished for, and gift ideas. And you can do the same process for bestsellers or most wished for, but today I'm going to focus on gift ideas. And this is because in my opinion, giftable products are some of the absolute best products to sell on Amazon. And if you want to learn more about those and every single benefit of them, you can check out this video up here. But now that we're here on gift ideas, step number 2 is to select your category. And you can do this from this left-hand menu here. Anytime you select a specific category, you're going to see the top 100 gift ideas within that category. In this example, I'm going to select sports and outdoors. Now that we've selected our category in gift ideas, step number 3 is to evaluate that parent category and niche down. Since we're now on the best 100 gift ideas of your parent category, in this example sports and outdoors, some of these ideas may be too competitive. In other words, the products featured here may lead to markets that are too saturated. For that reason, you can niche down further. For example, instead of looking at the top 100 in sports and outdoors in total, we can niche down to outdoor recreation, a sub-niche within sports and outdoors. If you still find this too competitive, you can niche down further within outdoor recreation. For example, we could go to camping and hiking, and each time you're niching down, you're going to see less and less competition. You might also see less and less demand. So be sure to check from that top level downwards, depending on your market. For example, the US is more competitive. You're probably going to be niching down more so than if you sell in the UK. And that brings us to step 4, and this is to use the top level criteria to select 5 products. As you move through these results, you want to consider 2 criteria points. And the first criterion you want to focus on is price point. As you can see here, $39.98. We want to be able to sell a product for at least a $30 sell price, if not a $35 sell price. However, remember that you are looking at a single product when you're on these lists. That does not represent the entire market. You may click on one inflatable lounger here, which has a $29 sell price, but then you see a lot of inflatable loungers in that market selling for $44. So with a bit of leeway, you want to focus on products here that have a sell price above $25, because remember, it is simply a flag leading you to that market. This does not represent the market in its entirety. Once you click through to a market from here, then you can evaluate price more closely and look for your $30 or $35 sell price levels. For example, here, this survival kit sells at $25.50, but when we actually go through to the market of survival kits, we may find others selling for $39.99. So you don't want to miss that opportunity simply because this individual one is priced a little bit lower. But if it's over about a $25 sell price, it's probably going to lead to a market where you do find prices over $30, which is our goal. And the exact same principle is true of reviews. This one has extremely high reviews, but when we click through, we may well find competitors there with much lower review counts. So remember, this is just an indicator of a potential market. That is all you're finding at this point, and you want to find 5. The second criteria point as you move through is product nature. For example here, Pampers Baby Wipes. This is a well-known brand name. We don't want to compete with Pampers. And secondly, how are we going to differentiate this product? How are we going to visually better this product? So we are looking for private labelable products. For example, these products here, inflatable lounges, hammocks, survival sets. These are products we can add to, we can improve. And these are also products that customers do not buy based on the brand name. So based on being able to sell the product for over $30 and the product nature lending itself to private label and you improving it, select 5 products here. And when you find a high potential product, for example, I have found this one here. Open this in a new tab. Step 5. This is to find the market's main keyword. So although I found this individual product, we now want to see who are the competitors for this product. What other products are competing for the same customer demand? And to do that, we need to find the keyword that customers use most to find this type of product. One of the quickest and easiest ways is to look at the title, particularly the beginning of the title. So Man Box Gifts. We are going to use that. And one note here that although gift markets present a lot of opportunity, the one downside to them is identifying and nailing down the best keyword for a gift type product, especially gift type products like this. The reason for that is that customers search for them differently. So it is more challenging on this step, but here's how you can find your main market keyword. Head over to Amazon and begin typing in that keyword you found near the beginning of the title, but stop before completing that phrase, and you can see an autocomplete. And Amazon is showing you in order of popularity how often these are typed in by customers. So our primary keyword is going to be Man Box Gift Set. Secondly is the next related one, Man Box Gifts. But since this one is higher up on the list, this is going to be our primary market's keyword. Select that one and search it on Amazon. And that is going to open this product's most accurate market on Amazon and its competing products. And that brings us to step 6. This is to find the best-selling product types or sub-niches. And this is particularly important with gift markets. We can see our survival type sets, also coffee sets, beard grooming and shaving sets, all different types. And you want to take note of these different types because each sub-niche in this case could be a potential market for you. So it's leading you to even more potential gift ideas that serve the same main market, which is Man Box Gift Sets. Although those are little sub-niches because one customer might buy the whiskey gift set, another the beard grooming gift set, and another the survival set, just depending on who they are buying for. And that brings us to step 7, and this is to evaluate a specific product type or sub-niche. And so for this example, although we could evaluate all of these, I'm going to evaluate the specific survival box gift set. And this is where we can start to really see if there's potential in this niche. To do this, we do need the help of a Chrome extension. Luckily, Helium 10 has a free Chrome extension called X-Ray, which you can download and install from the link in the description below. But once installed, make sure that you are on your main market's keyword page like this, and then click that Chrome extension at the top here. And once this opens, you are going to see all the products from this page behind, but in the Chrome extension. Now what you want to do, for each of the sub-niches you evaluate, for example, to keep this simple, we are just focusing on this type, the survival box gift set. For all others, like this one, jerky, this one, also jerky, what we want to do is tick all of those which are not exactly survival gift sets. Once you have clicked all of them, you're going to delete those. And as you can see, this this leaves you with data laser focused on your specific sub-niche here. And remember, you can repeat that for multiple sub-niches. But at this point, we move to step 8, and this is to evaluate pricing. Remember, we want to be able to sell a product for above $30 and above $35 is ideal. So looking over these results, are the prices above or below that price? In this example, we have many above $35 and those ones also sell very well. So this would indicate price maintenance, and price maintenance really just means that customers accept the price level that you want to sell at. That is a maintained price level. It's not being driven down to much lower levels where you aren't going to be profitable. But if the price level is maintained, then you're going to continue moving forward with this product. If it is not maintained, like you see very low prices here, then you're going to discard this potential product and move on to the next. Step 9, evaluate how customers buy. You want to establish how customers in this niche make their purchase decisions. Do they rely very heavily on review counts to make that decision, or do they value things like product design and features and buy based on that? Are they willing to go with lower review offerings based on the product perhaps being better? And we can again check this in the Chrome extension. Review counts versus sales. If you find that all the sales are going to the high review counts and none to the low review counts, then you know that customers rely heavily on reviews, and your job is going to be a lot tougher when you launch this product and don't have any reviews. However, the inverse could be true, as we see here with lower review counts selling well. 72 reviews, almost 400 sales a month. So this indicates to us that customers are willing to buy from lower review offers. And looking at the neighboring market, Manbox Gifts, that was the second major keyword we found for this specific market. Again, we see lower reviews selling well. So in this market, it is possible to make good sales numbers at good prices with lower reviews, at least with under 100 reviews here. And of course, the more of this relationship you see, the better. I generally like to see 3 sellers with under 100 reviews selling over a certain sales amount, and we'll touch on demand in a moment. But at higher sell prices, that could be 200 units a month. At $30 sell prices, that could be 300 units a month. But generally, you want to see at least 2 or 3 sellers under 100 reviews doing the sales numbers that you would like to do and at the sell price that you want to sell at. Perform this check for each of the markets you're evaluating. Ensure that customers buy based more on design and are willing to accept and take that risk on lower review offerings. If your product does not pass this check, then discard it, move on with the next. Step number 10. This is to evaluate demand. Building and launching a product does take a certain amount of time, money, energy, and so you want to make sure that that's going to be worth it. You can do that by ensuring you can sell enough units every single month. In this example, I want to ensure that I can sell $10,000 worth of goods through this listing, and at a $35 sell price, that's 300 units sold every single month. At a $50 sell price, that's 200 units sold every month. So I want to see sellers doing those numbers already. That indicates to me that there's enough demand, that customers are buying enough from this niche to make it worth my while. And again, having this extension does help, and I know that it is software, but we can see here that multiple of these sellers are selling over 300, sometimes over 500 units a month and at above $35. And you want to see at least 3 sellers selling the number of units that you want to sell. Again, if the product does not pass this check, discard it, move on with the next. And this brings us to step 11, which is to shortlist your high potential ideas. At this point, if there is price maintenance, low review reliance, what that means is customers buy based on design and product improvement, not just review counts, and there's enough demand, then this is a high potential niche. You're going to move this specific product to a high potential shortlist. And one of the benefits of these gift markets, but which also makes it a little bit more confusing, is that in the main gift market, as we touched on, there are sub niches, and you can actually look at each of those products as well. So here we're on Manbox Gift Set, our main market, and we can see products such as the one we found in the beginning. But remember, we found the beard grooming kits and these whiskey gift sets. Well, you can also look at these sub niches. For example, if we open the Whiskey Stones gift set, we can again use the same principle. Look at the type title and find the likely main keyword for this sub-niche. And if we search that on Amazon, then we have a whole other market we can evaluate. We can, for example, open our extension on this one and then apply the very same checks and tests. But whether you're moving from the gift ideas list in the beginning or doing this with sub-niches, depending on the type of market you're looking at, I recommend you get 5 high potential product ideas in this list before moving to step 12. Step 12 is where we're going to evaluate improvement opportunity. One of the most crucial parts of this business model is building out a better product, improving it further, adding to it how customers want you to add to it. The best way to identify how you can improve a product or how you can not improve a product is through review research. So you want to look at some of the top sellers within your niche because they've probably been there the longest and therefore have the most reviews. You have a bigger data set to work with, but focus very much on 2 and 3 star reviews, even 4 star, which say the product's good or the product's not good and this is why. This is how I would want it improved. Also focus on 5 star because that's going to tell you what customers love most and what you should retain within your own product design. But based on this, how much you can or cannot actually valuably differentiate a product, you want to rank each of these between 1 and 10. 10 having the most improvements and differentiation opportunity, 1 having the least. And one of the biggest tips I can give you here is that visual changes are much more powerful than non-visual ones. For example, a non-visual change would be adapting or improving the app that accompanies a product, whereas a visual change would be having a completely new piece of survival gear in your Manbox survival gift set. So think visually when evaluating the differentiation potential because that's what's going to get customers to click. That's what's going to help you convert your product. And if you're a Just One Dime member, be sure to note this down in your product evaluation tool. And if you want to learn more about how Just One Dime can help you on this journey, do stick around to the end. This brings us to step 13, where we're going to evaluate profitability. This, of course, is a crucial aspect, your ability to make money from the product you sell. Now, you can get your own profit calculator for free today from jot.com/calculator, or you can click the link in the description below. But you want to head over to alibaba.com and search your product type. Once you find a fitting version, then there are a few details that you want to take note of. First, you want to determine an estimate manufacturing cost. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be realistic. You can see here certain quantities render different prices. So if you order under 99 pieces of the standard unit, then it's going to cost $9.95. If you order between 100 and 300, $9.65, and it's going to descend with the more quantity that you order. Now, we recommend that you do not order less than 300 units if you're doing private label with FBA. And so in this example, if we ordered 500 units, then that's going to put our base price of this just example product at $9.30. But remember, you're probably going to customize the product, add a new accessory like a new piece of survival equipment, do your own packaging, etc. So you want to conservatively add to this base price, and we're going to put the base manufacturing cost here at $10.50. And so in our Just One Dime profit calculator, we are going to add $10.50 to the supplier cost column. Next, you want to determine the size and weight of this shipment. And again, this is an estimate, but you can get this either by contacting a supplier directly or by looking at their supplier listing. You can see if we scroll down on this listing, there's a section called packaging and delivery. Here we can see that a multiple of 20 are actually included in each carton, which they call batches in this case. And the size of each carton or batch is this. The weight of each carton or batch is this. So we can determine from this that 20 units go in a carton, the carton size and carton weight. And those are the details that you want to find along with the location of your supplier. And you can see in this example, if you scroll up in this blue box on the right, you can click the supplier's name, this underlined part. This is the supplier mini site. You can then click on contacts, and under company contact info, you will see the operational address. In this case, it is in Ningbo. But once you have the carton info and address info, you can go over to Freightos. This website allows you to generate free shipping quotes. So in the origin, we're going to put our manufacturer's warehouse and their address here. Destination, in this case, we're shipping to the US and we are selecting a US fulfillment center. You can use FTW1 if you're unsure at this point. Then under the load, we need to specify what we are sending. Now, we are going to choose boxes or crates because we're sending individual cartons. And since we are ordering 500 units, we know there's 20 units in each carton. This means we have 25 cartons. In this case on Freightos, 25 boxes. Then add the dimensions of each carton here. Lastly, add the weight of each carton here and click done. Under goods, you are going to insert the value of your goods. In this case, we're estimating $10.50 times 500. So it is the total manufacturing cost of your goods. Once all of that is in, click the search arrow. On the next page, you can choose recommended services. For example, if you need labeling, but we are going to have our manufacturer label the goods. You can also select for the freight forwarder to palletize unless your supplier is palletizing the goods. Customs brokerage if needed, a customs bond if needed. If you already have one, you can leave this as no. Also check if your supplier has a loading dock at their factory. If not, you're going to need to add a lift gate to the truck. And I do recommend that you add insurance to this quote. So we're going to leave most ticked here and confirm services just to get an estimate on the international shipping here. It then loads our quotes and we can see the quickest is obviously by air express. It'll be there within 9 days, but that's going to cost $5,500, which at 500 units is over $10 a unit. Whereas if we ship by sea here and the best value option, that's going to take about 60 days and it's going to cost $1,200, maybe $1,300. And since I know C.H. Robinson is a very well-known forwarder, lots of reviews, we're going to go with this option just as an estimate here. It's going to take about 50 days in transit from our manufacturer to FBA. That's going to be $1,350. And $1,350 for the entire shipment divided by 500 units. That means this is going to cost $2.70 per unit. Back on your Just One Dime profit calculator, insert this amount per unit, $2.70. And the next column we need to insert here are the Amazon fees. This is our FBA referral and fulfillment fee. And you can gain this very easily from your Chrome extension again under FBA fees, $14.07. This is a combined fee, both your Amazon referral fee and FBA fulfillment fee. Once you input those, you are going to have a total cost of goods sold. In this case, just over $27. That's everything it costs us: manufacturing, shipping, Amazon system. Each time we sell a unit, that is what it costs us. That's what comes out of our sell price, essentially. In the next column, add your sell price. This is what you wish to sell the product for. And that is going to result in a profit per piece. Each time you sell a unit, it's $28.70. A profit margin. You want this margin to be above 40% at this point, because we haven't even factored in ad spend yet. If a product has less than a 35% margin here, I would remove that from your potential list. You also want to add the quantity of goods you're ordering here, and that will give you a total cost, the total revenue you're likely to make from selling all 500, and total profit once you've sold all of them. We're also going to be adding an ROI column here, which I know a lot of you will appreciate, and in this case I think it's 102% ROI. And that brings us to step 14, and this is to choose your product. I recommend you repeat this process at least 3 times, each time trying to find 5 sub-niches that you look more into, and you may end up finding one really high potential idea for each of those 3 processes that you move through. Then out of those last 3, reevaluate the price maintenance, the review reliance, or how much people actually buy based on reviews or product design, as well as how much you can differentiate and improve that product, especially valuably to the customer and visually. Lastly, look at profit margins. Those are usually the easiest way to decide between your remaining products and choose the next product that you sell on Amazon. And a reminder that this video just scratches the surface, but you can learn absolutely every aspect about this business model in our online e-commerce school, Amazon FBA Mastery. We have over 100 videos covering every single aspect of this process. That is where we train people from over 150 different countries, go from knowing nothing about e-commerce to becoming professional online sellers. And you can click the link in the description below or go to jod.com/freedom. And don't rely on the YouTube algorithm to send our next tutorial your way. Only half of you who watch these videos are actually subscribed. So subscribe right now, make sure you get notified and it's in your subscription feed every time. I do hope this shared a different way to do your product research and that it helps you find and build an epic product idea. I will catch you in one of the next videos.